And markets are up here today. We are live on our Tackle Trading Halftime Report to break it all down. Welcome out, everybody. It's always good to start the show here, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Markets are green, guys, except for Google on the heat map. And we got a full crowd. I want to introduce everybody. Coach Noah, Coach Slavic, Coach Cody, and Coach Matt. The Fab Five here today, guys. Let's get right down to it. Matt, how you doing today, first off?
You know, I'm doing better than Google, but not as good as the market. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm
Better
like
than the
right there in the middle, right there in the middle. Hey, guys, last night, if you were to imagine Google going down 3%, okay, on their earnings numbers, and we'll go through their earnings numbers here in a minute. But if you could imagine Google going down 3%, would you imagine the market? What would it take for the market to go up 2% in the following day?
Tesla.
Like everything else has to ignore it.
But Tesla represents
I know, I'm just making
like 10% of what Google represents.
Apple 3%, Microsoft 3%. Everything else has to beat that.
Though, they are pulling the market up. Microsoft it just ran all day.
Yeah. This Google earnings, obviously, let's talk about this one right here. I mean, it is down 3%, and they did have some troubling numbers, Matt, but not all the way through. 3% is within the market maker projection. I'm not too concerned about this report personally.
No, and not only am I not too concerned about the drop in Google, I mean, the numbers weren't bad, Tim. I mean, when you look at their EPS numbers, they actually blew their EPS numbers out of the water. I mean, 15.35 EPS on against an expectation of 12.76. That is a stellar number. Revenue came in at 46.1 billion versus 38.4 on the expectation. That's a pretty good revenue beat. Some of the analysts had a little bit higher than that, though. But you know what really kind of underwhelmed and what kind of led to the selling in Google was just simply YouTube. I mean, this was really kind of the first time the new CEO of Google has really kind of taken the helm over an earnings report, and they wanted to be transparent with the numbers. And for the first time, they were pretty transparent. And YouTube in 2019 really came in at about $15 billion in total revenue, and that was at the extreme low end of what most analysts had predicted. So the YouTube numbers just kind of underwhelmed. I think Tackle Trading needs to do a little better job of getting those YouTube numbers up.
Yeah, we should improve our numbers here as well to help them get some more revenue. There's no doubt about it. I was impressed by that, 15 billion. I know their cloud numbers were not as good as the Microsoft cloud numbers, Matt, but they added 2 billion in profit there.
They were better than what was expected. So the cloud numbers came in at about 10 billion for 2019 versus YouTube at 15 billion. But those cloud numbers were better than what the expectation, and they're growing. I think what one of the concerns was their total revenue numbers only increased at 17.3% year over year, and the expectation was about 20%. So that was on the low end too. So YouTube numbers were on the low end. Revenue year over year was on the low end. Cloud numbers impressed. Google gaps down into support, but I don't think investors of Google should be overtly concerned here.
Yeah, no, I would not be. There's no question about it. In fact, you can look at this as an opportunity. If eventually it does take out the high at 1503, you would be a buyer there. Gap down, sitting on support, down on the day, but within the market maker move. That was the big headline from last night. But then we come in this morning, I see everything else is green map. The heat map is incredible today because you have this sea of green, bright green, Noah, and then one little red box up there on the top left. Let's start with the NASDAQ if we can, Noah, because so much of the leadership is in tech. There's no question about it. I'm seeing Microsoft and Apple and Facebook and everything outside of Google running here, guys. That's a breakout. Just within 1 week after this big coronavirus scare started really hitting markets, now the NASDAQ is hitting an all-time high. Noah, what's your read on the action here?
Well, that's a pretty good size candle in there, Tim. Lots of momentum. If it can maintain that close above the high, I think that is a confirmed breakout at this point in time. You know, when you see a W type pattern, normally I expect that to be more of a bottoming pattern after a correction, but this was not deep enough to get there. It ended up staying, for the most part, staying up above that 20 period moving average, unlike the other indices that dipped down below that and came, down all the way down to the 50. That's pretty impressive. And I think that's definitely a sign of the leadership in the market.
Matt, this is impressive. They're shaking off. You said something on the podcast yesterday that the old mindset of Jesse Livermore, trust what you see, trade what you see, trade with your eyes. And if my eyes are telling me something, that's a simple breakout. That's a buy point.
Well, and I said it on the halftime report yesterday as well. I mean, there's a lot of news out there that's kind of scary, and with the coronavirus and so on and so forth. And even today we saw, yesterday I believe the confirmed cases were around 14,700 or 14,500. Today it actually increased above 20,000. But I think the market's showing you that they think they're these things that China and Gilead Science and some of the treatments that they're testing and whatnot is gonna be helpful in the long run, and they're gonna be able to kind of bring this together and see a decrease in the volatility. So the market's gonna do whatever the market does, whether it's rational or irrational. I'll be the first to admit, Tim, that I woke up today and the market's up a good 2%, and I'm just like, what's the news? I mean, Google's down on earnings, coronavirus increases in terms of confirmed cases. What's the catalyst here? And the catalyst, as has been for the last 10 years, the catalyst is central banks. And China, the People's Bank of China, put another $74 billion in fresh new liquidity coming into the market. And China's also looking at cutting their interest rate as well, and other repo actions. And central banks saving the world again. That's the storyline we've seen for 10 years, and that's the storyline today as well.
It's pretty crazy that
don't fight the Fed, don't fight the People's Bank of China.
Do not fight the PBOC. 2 days in a row, they keep pushing money into the market, obviously trying to stabilize things there. I did see the coronavirus data. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but guys, it's not exactly turned down. It still is uptrending. We're seeing increases in cases, and it is expanding. So there's some positive news in what might be being able to happen with the Gilead information, Matt, how they're fighting it, maybe they're containing it, but we don't have confirmation yet that it has slowed down. So I still see some risk in the data here. Am I overthinking this, guys? I mean,
no, there's absolutely risk in the data here. There's absolutely risk in the data here. But again, the market's going to do what the market wants to do, and regardless of what we believe it to be rational or logical, that our opinions of this situation is not important. What we have to focus on is trading with our eyes. And I've said this many times. You don't trade with your mind. You get prepared with your mind. You never trust your heart. You trade with your eyes. And when you're looking at the NASDAQ, we talked about this yesterday. NASDAQ's been the leader here. It's going to continue to be the leader. S&P is lagging a little bit. NASDAQ's breaking out here today. I agree with what Noah said on the breakout. If that closes above the breakout channel, you got to call that a breakout, and you got to be a net buyer.
Outside the NASDAQ breaking out to the new high, obviously the S&P, the Dow, and the Russell, the indexes we look at, they're not quite breaking out yet, I would say, but they're showing some flag break patterns here, guys. Noah, give me a quick analysis. Run through all those different indexes if you can.
Yeah, you bet. The S&P here, again, as I mentioned before, is dipped much lower, went below the 20-period moving average, came all the way down and kissed right off the 50, almost like the algorithms kicked in. And it's pushed back up today with, again, big rising window type candle. And if it can maintain that close above that intraday pivot, it's gotten back up above the 2-period move, the 9 and the 20-period moving average, and that would be a sign of strength. Again, not as nice as taking out the high like the NASDAQ, but not terrible considering the size of the dip. Yeah, back above. In fact, I remember on the halftime show last week, I had you draw a line on the intraday, at 3,300. We're at 3,302 here. And I said, if it gets back above there, to me, that's confirmation that price is where it needs to be. Now, we've not closed there yet, guys. And we've seen a lot of radical closes in the last 2 weeks off of this thing. But Matt, above 3,300, in my opinion, the S&P is breaking above a technical level. What's your read on that?
Same thing. I have nothing else to add. I mean, 3,300 was a known intraday resistance zone. You haven't confirmed. Remember, confirmation is not a test above a breakout channel. It's got to close above a breakout channel. So let's see how the market responds for the second half of today. But as of right now, I mean, with the NASDAQ breaking out and the S&P 500 reclaiming all those moving averages and getting back above 3,300, again, the market's going to be euphoric. Whether or not you agree with it or not, it's not the point.
I agree. Talk about euphoria, the perfect transition. Bring up Tesla if we can. I mean, wow is all I can say. I have a lot more to say. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Slavik, my day trading friend, one of our coaches over there at Tackle Trading that does our lounges in the morning quite often, and often on the weekend, the stock reports. You day traded Tesla today here. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. I had to take a shower after all. But yeah, after this drop towards 860 and that big, if you look intraday for at 2-minute charts, that big bottoming tail that happened on volume at
Slavik, I don't even have a 2-minute time frame set up. Best I'm going to give you is 5-minute chart.
Okay, so well, the 5-minute, the reversal, the red going into green, right? On
About
5-minute. Yeah, I went and I bought 20 shares whopping, and then I added after a small pullback that red bar ignored here. Right after that bounce, and then I sold at 9:10 and turned my day around. I was, in the meantime, I was thinking about going and borrowing the diaper from my daughter. It was very volatile. However, I pulled it off. I turned my day, because I was a small red for the day with BP, Micron, and something else. WW, yeah.
The magnitude of that's 100-point range in the day. That's just massive.
Well, and it's about the only logical way I could hear somebody say they traded Tesla, because day trading, I understand. People chasing up here, I still don't understand, but I've missed out on this one, Matt, for a month now. It's been the best performer in the market. It is up another 17% today. And the only way I can wrap my head around this is short covering madness,
Oh, that's well, you have some chasing the dragon type scenarios. You know, I read an article today about hedge funds that, basically calling into the broker saying, when's this madness going to end? And they're all chasing here, right? But, you got to give Elon a little bit of credit here. 2 years ago, Elon sent out a tweet that says, get ready for the greatest the short squeeze of all time. And quite frankly, this is the greatest short squeeze of all time. I've never seen anything like this. Short float continues to go down from the high of 30%. It's currently at 17.5%. 6 months from now, that's going to be 10%, right? Mm-hmm. And, I said this, I don't know if I said it in the halftime report yesterday or the podcast yesterday, but, at one point, Apple didn't have a 1% short float, and Google and Facebook and all those didn't have 1% short floats, right? You build a successful company, you kill the shorts by building a successful company. And, Panasonic today, came out and said using Tesla batteries has made their company profitable. And that was just yet another random catalyst to give people a reason to buy. And, to me, you never want to fight the momentum, even though I think we can all agree that this isn't rational behavior. Can we all agree with that?
No, it's not rational. It's not. It is. It's a rocket. I mean,
it's a SpaceX rocket here, and it's got momentum behind it, And for me, you can't fight that momentum. Give Elon a lot of credit here. Elon deserves it.
Well, first of all, great trade, Slavik. And I know whenever you jump into a trade like this, it's going to be crazy and volatile, but I saw that intraday pivot, love it. I can see why a day trader would love action like this. Obviously you're getting back and forth and up and down. It's going to create opportunities. As a swing position trader, Matt, I got nothing. As a longer term thinker, even, I looked up just while you were talking, the 27 analysts that are offering 12-month price forecast, they're all targeting about $500 on average. So expect some upgrades here in the next couple weeks to months.
That was 252 months ago.
I know.
The analysts are chasing the dragon the same way the traders are right now.
I can't think of another blast off like this on a stock this size. Now, obviously, a Beyond Meat kind of comes to mind from last year with the price action a little bit, a Tilray. But we're talking, what is Tesla's market cap now? We're talking about a company.
It's like 125 billion.
They're worth more than BMW and something else combined together. Let me see.
They're worth more than Ford, GM, and another car company combined. And by the way,
Volkswagen and BMW, yeah.
Slavik, last year, and let's try to make sense of this, guys. Tesla is not the only car company investing in clean tech, renewable energy. Many car companies are, Volkswagen included.
Yeah.
Volkswagen last year sold 10 million cars. Okay. 10 million cars. Tesla last year sold 400,000 cars. And yet Tesla is a higher market cap company than Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, it doesn't make a lot of sense if you don't understand what a short squeeze is, right? That's what is going on here. The shorts are covering because this year alone, guys, the shorts have lost $8 billion this year alone. Since quarter three of last year, the shorts have lost $12.5 billion. And if you're David Einhorn and you're losing billions of dollars in your hedge fund, you're going to capitulate in the face of that. I mean, who in the right mind would still be carrying a short right now? Even if they're proven right over the next 3 years, they're going to go broke being right.
Well, I feel like you really missed an opportunity to say they lost their shorts or something like that. Like, I mean, it just.
I'm not as creative with the dad jokes as you are.
I know, but it's just right there, low hanging fruit. You got to take it. Come on,
guys. I know a trader that went out of business 3 years ago, shorting Tesla based on fundamentals, and that only shows you. And I wrote a piece for this past Friday about long term and stuff. That only shows you that trading has nothing to do with anything, right? When it push comes to shove, like look at Tesla going from $200 to $950 today. It's just
there's this like balance, Matt, and I think what Slavik is saying is dead on. The shorter the time frame, fundamentals don't mean much. The longer the time frame, they mean much more.
I've known a lot of traders that went broke shorting fundamentals.
That's right. And I actually read a stat here. Just this month alone, short sellers have lost $8 billion shorting this stock.
Yeah, we just talked about that. But I've never met a rich trader that based their analysis on shorting fundamentals. I've never met that person.
I know a broke.
I've met many broke ones shorting fundamentals. Why would you short fundamentals? I mean, companies have negative P ratios. They have bad fundamentals when they're at the early stages of a growth company. You short based on technical indicators, not based on fundamental indicators.
I don't know how many cars they produce every year, but all those names of the car manufacturers you named, one of them, Toyota Motors, still a bigger company. And I bought a Toyota hybrid as well. I'm still a doubter, which is why I've missed out on this move. I just have not trusted my eyes, Matt. Sometimes you miss out on a move. I guess it is what it is. I'll have to try to learn from this one. This stock is at 911.
I think many people have missed this. I mean, it's really hard to catch something like this.
I'd rather be on the ground wishing I was in the air than be in the air wishing I was on the ground.
That's a good point. I like the way you just said that.
Thanks. I have to fly tomorrow morning.
So I actually have a friend, and he's been a devout holder of Tesla since their IPO. I can only imagine what he's feeling right now.
Give him a text.
Give him a call later on.
Yeah, give him a call. That's probably time to celebrate.
Be like, hey, how are you feeling right now?
That's right.
Don't forget to sell.
Back in 2014, I got a call from a friend of mine, and they said, Matt, just give me one stock to buy. Just what's your favorite stock? And I said, go buy Tesla. 3 years later, he bought a Tesla car with the profits.
Oh,
and
nice.
he didn't bullshit. He didn't even buy me a steak dinner.
You would think he would at least have the decency to do that. Let's move on to some of the companies here, guys. I want to talk about Disney tonight. They do have earnings coming out. This is a company, Matt, we talk about a lot on the halftime show. I know you have just a lot of respect for Bob Iger and the way that he leads this company, their branding, their leadership. They've been smart at everything. I read that they bought the rights to Hamilton, the play, and they're going to turn it into a big movie production, probably going to be another $1 billion profit at some point soon. But last quarter, guys, and this is why I think it's very significant for this stock, it's when they launched their Disney Plus streaming service. You know, what we learn from that is going to be very important. Netflix has been taken off this year. They were under, the radar. Now Netflix started to pop up again. Matt, what do you expect from Disney? What are you going to be watching for? Obviously, this is on your watch list. This is one of your favorite companies, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a tremendous respect for Bob Iger. I think he's one of the brightest and best CEOs in the world. Just a wonderful, wonderful entrepreneur. Everything Bob Iger has done has been just gold. From the Hulu acquisition to the Disney Plus acquisition to Star Wars and Marvel. I mean, they had $7 billion movies, and I believe they paid upwards of like $40 million for the rights of Hamilton, which was a record number. That's going to make them so much money. And I'm not even going to go to that movie, but I promise it's going to be worth $1 billion at some point. I'm looking for subscriber growth. I'm looking for subscriber numbers. That's what I'm kind of interested in what Disney's doing tonight.
Do I own that yet? Is that what Igor said?
I don't know
who they buy the rights from. Like Shakespeare family is still alive or something? Like
no,
it doesn't matter.
First of all, time out. Cody, do you think that the movie Hamilton is Hamlet? Is that what I just heard?
Oh, that is what I could
He
do.
might have.
That is what I could do.
Oh, I'm
Thank
embarrassed
you.
for you, Cody.
Oh.
Oh, face
Oh, I
palm.
did just mix those up.
Just when you least expect it.
Put my dunce cap on.
That was the most millennial thing you've ever done, old man.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll let that one go, dude. I've made mistakes plenty of times. It is what it is. C'est la vie, my friend. No, Hamilton is that famous one on Broadway right now that they've been just like selling $1,000 tickets on Broadway for front row seats, and people are buying them. It's been sold out for years. Won tons of like whatever the awards are that you get when you're a Broadway play, and they bought it from the people who wrote it. So it's a real capitalist idea. These writers created a play, Matt. They sold it for $75 million to Disney. Talking about American Dream story. That's pretty cool.
Congratulations.
The only thing I'm going to say
Lynn.
about it is it's going to be better than Cats.
I hope so. That was one of the worst adaptations to a movie of all time. They lost hundreds of millions of dollars on that. So yeah, interesting. All right, we'll look at Disney tomorrow. Other companies I want to look at here in just a minute. But actually, before Matt's got to go, I know you got to bounce here in like 2 minutes. I want to take a look at crude oil, gold, and the dollar, kind of round out our market analysis if we can. And crude light here, guys, it's not rallying with the market. The first thing I put on the top of my page in my routine today was risk is on, because the market feels like a risk on environment today. Everything's going up except for Google. Crude light, that's concerning candle, guys. I don't see bullishness there yet. Noah, break that down for me. How do you interpret the candle action there on crude oil?
The fact that it's broken down below that key level down here at 51, and you're seeing it press down to the low, 49 area. You're actually seeing a bit of a retest already. It broke down and closed below support. And then today's upper shadow on the green candle, it's already come up and retest. So if I break that down intraday, what you'll see is there it is. It's that, rally back up, retest, and it's already dropping again. So, I'd say crude oil without that support zone, that makes you want to back out to a weekly chart and see where the next big support neighborhood is. And I think the next big support neighborhood's all the way down at 44. So there's room for that to drop. And again, you may get a revision to the mean, you may get a rally sooner than that, but that's such a big support zone. If it stays closed below that, I think that you're going to see some continued selling pressure. I almost got around that.
Yeah. Slavic, do you trade crude oil, by the way, Slavic? I think you trade stocks mostly. Is that right?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't trade oil.
Just the candle action here though, Slavic. I mean, go back to a daily candle here, Noah. When you see a rally try to start and fail while it's on a daily downtrend coming down into support, how do you interpret that price action?
Well, it's way overcooked to the downside, in my opinion, oil right now. However, we're under that support, and I would short whatever, every single failure at that support. And it looks like some traders
did that today as
I'm saying that.
Well, and that's how triggers are developed, right, guys? Yeah. I mean, traders are shorting at 52 on the intraday. If it ever did break back above that and start to build some momentum, Matt, maybe we could get interested, but there's nothing down here till we get confirmation, right?
Yep.
No, I mean, the failure of support, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, no one pointed out today, the failure of support typically leads to more decreased price action. Yeah. The candle today, you saw some bullish momentum earlier in the day based on a report coming out of OPEC that they're gonna cut 500,000 barrels a day, and that kind of is in line with what is expected to have the coronavirus kind of decrease in consumer consumption by about 500,000 barrels a day. So, and they're also meeting in about a week from now to discuss further cuts and whether Russia is going to play ball or not, and all that. So that was kind of the news that kind of led into the bullish momentum earlier today, but the failure of that momentum to continue to carry through is a very, very concerning sign for anybody that is a buyer or an owner of oil. If you break those intraday support levels, currently at 49.66, I agree with Noah. I think 45.44 is in line, and it would not surprise me in any capacity in a week and a half from now if we're sitting in the halftime report when I get back from Miami and we're talking about oil sitting at 45.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. By the way, probably the one chart I do want to get Matt's take on before he leaves, got to get it, Matt, is gold. Gold is down pretty healthy today. There's no question about it. And that's that risk on attitude. When the markets are all rallying, NASDAQ's at an all-time high, money's flying into stocks like Apple and Microsoft and Tesla, people are going to reprice gold back down here. I'm not changing my bias here, Matt, but I got to try to be open-minded. Are you seeing anything in that failure at the moving averages that concerns you, or is
No.
it just kind of, more par for the course?
No. Why do you own gold?
I know why I own it. Long
To protect
term,
to protect your 90% of your portfolio.
Yep.
So if you're a net buyer in your portfolio, which most people are, you're really happy today, even if you're down on gold a little bit.
Yeah.
When you have a risk on environment in the market, and the market is skyrocketing up 2.2% in the NASDAQ, 1.75% in the S&P 500, and gold's going to come down. It's just going to happen. But over the course of the last 6, 7, 8 months, over the course of the last year, you've been very happy. You've owned gold to protect against some of that. And like I said, there's going to be random volatility in the market this year. We're going to have some days this year where you're down 2.5% in the marketplace, and you're going to be very happy you own gold. Gold is not a day trading vehicle. Gold is not even necessarily a swing trading vehicle. Gold is a hedge, it's a position, and it's an investment.
Yeah, I'm with you. Palladium, which is one we talk about quite often.
I
finally
got to take off. Halftime crew, have a great day. I got to go get into another meeting. You guys have fun the rest of the show, okay?
See you, Matty. Yep. All right, pal here, guys. I mean, taking off here. Beautiful trigger to the upside. Noah, break down the technicals on this one if you can.
Well, let me get those offending Fibonacci's off the screen there first.
Yeah, please do. I mean,
I
listen,
know,
I'm in such a
hey,
good mood.
it's not.
You're gonna trigger him.
Hey, Matt's gone. Quick, let's talk fibs. Well, that is a beautiful. That's a beautiful pullback and a bounce off of a rising 20-period moving average after a huge increase in momentum and a real steepening of the trend. The fact that it crossed back up above the 9, you're seeing a ton of momentum, and most importantly, I really like that uptick in volume here, Tim. I think that that's a really strong sign of heavy participation in the rally. If you look at the volume associated with the price of the stock, as it ran up to these new highs, you had tons of participation. And then during the sell-off cycle, you see the volume just really taper off. And then as we see confirmation back up, boom, it looks like there's the participation levels there. That's a really strong bullish chart. A lot of momentum here. Again, overhead resistance at 2,400, but I see a retest coming soon.
Yeah, definitely going to retest the high there. Obviously, very impressive candlestick here today. Metals markets are always fascinating to me. The other ones aren't really grabbing me. Those were the two. I do want to talk dollar real quick here. Dollar up just a hair and bouncing into a little bit of resistance. I'm neutral in the short term. Moving on, nothing really there that I really want to dive into. I want to talk stocks here today, guys, because in earnings season and at this time of year, you get all kinds of volatility. You get all kinds of opportunities. And by the way, there's a bunch of great triggers on the reports. I want to go through some of your favorite candidates you guys are watching right now. And then we're going to do our game of rapid fire we do on most Tuesdays, Cody. And we're going to bring that back this week and have some fun with that out there. If you're watching our show right now, real quick, just pop in the chat and say hashtag Team Tackle. Trying to build this audience, build our community, and do great things for you guys out there. Love it, very proud of it, and I'm really, really happy with the progress that I'm seeing in our community. And if you've not done it yet, give me a thumbs up on the YouTube channel, subscribe, click the bell, make sure you come back and join us each and every day. And by the way, I've been told, Noah, we're not very good at pitching our own product. In fact, I was informed that today, like we're bad pitch men. And the reality is, guys, we do these shows to build our community, and we're really building our company over there at Tackle Trading through our subscription. Noah, give me a quick 15-second pitch on that service.
Well, I'll tell you what. You come for the content, you stay for the community. That sums it up right there. We've got amazing content, the scouting reports, the weekly write-ups, the blogs. I mean, the scouting reports alone are worth a visit. Plus you got all that fantastic, content like the Options 101, Technicals 101, really good foundational courses for traders. Plus we have some really great premium content as well that's available out there. But for me, it's like a family, Tim. It's like this little community of, where I come to get online interaction and to be able to talk with like-minded people. Because even though I've been trading for a long time now, I don't have a lot of people in my immediate circle around home that are into the markets like I am. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's, being a part of that community and having, getting to know and becoming familiar with not only all the coaches that we have that are awesome, but just all the awesome members of the community we've got.
It is what it is. I get it. And by the way, I actually do think we're pretty good at pitching our product because we're just providing value. Slavik, you've been around a lot of trading communities in your career. Tackle Trading is one you're staying with, throughout the entire thing. What for, man? because I know that you've been in and out of different things and different courses and different this and that. But there's something here at Tackle that's special, don't you think?
Yeah, the community, like you're saying. I mean, the products, if you look at the products, I mean, everybody sells something similar unless you have some scanners and stuff out there. But the community, the knowledge, and the knowledgeable people, I love you guys.
Yeah. Well, I know that you had some up and down here today, but we love you too, brother. I do appreciate you saying that as well. And it is about the different people, Noah, because I like the fact that you love Elliott Wave Fibonacci's and you look at it and you put value into it. I don't mind that I don't. Not every trader has to look at the markets the same. And the fact that Slavic uses a 2-minute chart and you didn't even have it on your charts, Noah, is kind of cool to me, because we're bringing experts all together so that we can communicate and grow and learn. That's the cool thing about our community. So if you're not a member yet, guys, there's a link in the chat. Make sure, Cody, that you put it in the description like you always do, young man. I appreciate that. And click that, join up.
Tim, you were saying that you may not like the Fibonacci's and things. I've heard you say more about technical analysis that you don't like versus indicators that you do like. What indicators do you use, Tim?
I believe in price action, and moving averages. That's what I believe in.
All right.
Yep. Volume, price action, and volatility. I mean, that is what I watch. That is what I believe in. It strips out all the garbage. You focus just on the data right in front of you. I think if you learn to watch charts long enough, Cody, you don't need the other stuff. Your eyes hit those marks anyway, Noah, and I like to keep it simple.
So what you're saying is you can see a Fibonacci even without putting a Fibonacci on the screen.
That's right, brother.
So you're a secret fan. I got you.
I'm not getting trapped into this. I'm not doing it. All right, let's talk some stocks here today. Slavic, you did some day trading, couple that I thought were really interesting. One was RCL. Let's bring this one up. You know, I read that Macau is shutting down some of their casinos. We'll talk about casino stocks here in just a minute. Anytime you get volatility internationally about travel, this and that, you're going to have cruise lines, you know, that are going to go bumping up and down. You day traded this, Slavic. How'd you approach it?
Well, it opened with a gap up over that little consolidation on the daily. But if you look to the left, in June, there was a nice support that broke and became resistance at 122. So I shorted against, I missed the first trade, but then I had off of 2-minute nice cap and handle that triggered me around 11 right after my session, so I couldn't call it. Sorry, Cody. And then the low base added and reduced my stop, and it turned into a nice trade. Very nice. That brought me back to green along with that Tesla trade.
Mm-hmm.
I see that intraday cup and handle on your 2-minute chart. I see what you did there.
See?
That's fantastic.
Beautiful.
Finally.
Yeah, I love it. And then you also played BP. Is that right?
Yeah, BP break of that. Where is it? Break of that 3650. It also gapped into resistance if you look at it. 3650. I called it short. It was a nice trade 1-to-1 as far as risk reward, and then did the same thing I did with the RCL. Tried for a low base. I got filled and I got stopped out. So BP was a wash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about day trading, though. I mean, you have a specific approach you do in the morning. And one thing I love about what you've brought to our community, Slavic, is you pop in at 11 o'clock after you've done some of your day trades and you kind of talk about it at least once or twice a week in the lounge. Is that right? You've been doing that maybe once a week or so? Yeah.
Yep.
You know, the Traders Lounge is one of the most popular things we do for the people who attend it. And I would definitely, if you are a pro member, make sure you get in there and you attend it with Slavic and Noah and Gino and the team. Noah, you had some you were interested in. One was Gilead. GILD was the stock. I asked all the guys before the show, guys, I said, what stocks are on your radar right now? And Gilead was one of yours, Noah. What are you focused on here?
Well, this one was interesting because this is actually responding to the coronavirus. They've been using HIV drugs to treat the coronavirus, some of those retro, antivirals, and that their primary manufacturer is Gilead. That's one of their staple part of their business. And their stock price has gapped up on that news. It gapped up just a couple percentage points. And I'm just watching to see if we can see a breakout above 68. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but it was in the news and on my radar. And so I'm watching. This is a big consolidation pattern. If we can clear those 68s, I think we got a clearing run to 70. And then if you can clear 70, you got a lot of clean air above that.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, we would love to have them come in, make a positive impact over there with that. And if it does, usually that's going to mean profit. So that would be a beautiful thing. That's why I love capitalism, Cody. I do love the fact that the market can bring a solution to problems. Absolutely 100%. Cody, you mentioned PayPal. PYPL is one of yours that you were focused on. What are you watching for in this stock here?
So PayPal, I was trading intraday as well. And so I saw it on the daily with a potential breakout. And then when you on the intraday versus Slavic looking at his inverted cup and handle, I saw a cup and handle on PayPal. And when that thing broke, it ran. So that's what I traded mainly this morning was PayPal was my winner for the day.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely love the breakout there. I've loved credit processing companies for a long time. I think they're great to trade. I like the way that they swing up and down. PayPal's starting to kick back up. If it can clear the all-time high, guys, we're post earnings here. That's definitely going to be on a bullish watch list. And there was some that I really loved from the reports here today, guys. Take a look at Lulu, if you will. Now, that was a beautiful breakout. It was also a little bit of a flag breakout yesterday. I mean, Slavic, this has got the behavior and the personality to run. Do you trade Lulu, Slavic?
I don't. I would do it with options because it's a little bit too pricey. My cutoff is $200 per share. But I love the channel, how it breaks out the channel resistance, and it might establish just like Spider at one point last year broke out of that channel resistance and created a new channel that started trading.
Your cutoff is $200 a share, says the man who day traded Tesla this morning.
I was going to bring this up. I saw it as well. We're catching people in traps.
As soon as he did it, I was like, "You're a brave man."
Listen, Cody. What did I say in the room? I could not
call it. He waited till after he was in it. He didn't let anybody else know that he did it. I think.
Yeah.
After his trade was done, then he was like, "Guys,
once you see,
I traded Tesla."
I had a confession to make. I trade once you see the pattern that you love.
Stockaducci. We need.
Let me go get this guy.
I'm gonna confess to Stockaducci tonight.
I like it.
But I will kick the stocks off that are over $200 per share. And I mean, Tesla, back to Tesla. I traded 20 shares, man, 20 shares.
Yeah.
So,
you kept your money management rules, but you got tempted by the chart.
You got pulled in.
Gosh.
Pulled in by the blast out.
I have all these people. Oh, I made $18,000 on Tesla over the course of 2 days. I made 30, and you see that, and you're getting angry, right? That you missed out on this and stuff. So
you have FOMO that you need to confess as well.
Yeah, there you go. It turned my day around. So it is what it is. Hopefully I won't break my rule again.
Couple others grabbing my attention. I like CRM's chart. It was on the option report over the weekend. I love this company for different reasons. I do. I think the fundamentals are great behind it. I've studied that stuff. And that's just a nice high base consolidation breakout here, Noah. There's so many different ways you could approach something like this. Obviously, you'd want to catch it on the trigger, but when you see an entry like this, Noah, what's your reaction to something like that?
Well, that's about as pretty a high base as you get. Really quite a textbook pattern, Tim. The way it chopped sideways and consolidated until that moving average, that 20-period moving average really caught up. And this is really a common scenario where you see that moving average come up and help lift it, help break out. Market momentum helps that. The fact that it gapped up with good energy might have made getting triggered in a little more challenging. It might have gapped past some triggers. But if you put your triggers out above the high, you're probably into that. Mm-hmm. And so that's a pretty good looking chart. And again, textbook high base breakout. That's if you want a picture of what a high base should look like, take a little screenshot of that. That's a pretty pattern.
And I saw like 6 or 8 other triggers on the option and stock reports. One of the most popular products that we have in our pro membership. Here's a couple examples of what you get when you go in and do that. And Slavic, you're a part of those meetings on Friday. That's a pretty fun process where we find them, we pick them, then we argue them, we debate them, and then we prepare trades all the way out, right?
I love the process, and I love to be honest, I love it when somebody gives you a spiel why this is a great candidate, and everybody agrees until somebody says veto.
Yeah,
I love it.
We love our veto process, and any coach who's there has that right to do that. Mark is usually very delayed on the vetoes. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's intentional because
he's got his rules of weeklies and stuff. So
he's checking things.
He'll go check it after the fact. We'll be like 2 stocks down. He's like, "Hey, you remember the one that we were looking at before? Yeah, I don't like that one. Get rid of it."
Yeah. Enough of the companies that we're interested in, guys. Now let's hear what our team out there is interested in. On Tuesdays, very often, I would say 90% of our Tuesdays, Cody, we do rapid fire. It's a pretty popular segment. We love it. The way it works, Cody, set it up. Kind of explain it to our audience out there.
It's pretty quick and simple. Basically, we are traders here. We're swing traders. We look at the charts themselves. So if you have a swing trade that you're looking to get in, get out, take that swing, take that profit, and you want to get a coach's opinion on what we think of that chart, whether we think it's a good trade to get into, bad trade to get into, stay away, or maybe, hey, you got earnings coming up, you can do this, but you only have about 2 weeks to possibly make that trade happen. If you want that kind of quick analysis on any charts that you're looking at, then put them in the chat right now, and we're going to run through them. We're going to do, 10 seconds or less on each chart, just kind of give you our opinion and go from there.
Yeah, let's do it. We got a list coming in here, guys. Paul, TWLO, Twillo. I'm going to start with Slavic.
All right. I see rise and wedge. It broke out. There's not really a follow through. There's a lot of noise looking to the left at 130, 135. So if you're in it, make sure you manage it correctly. I would shove the stop right underneath today's
Earnings.
low.
Yep. Earnings on the 6th there. So
There you go.
Earnings coming up 2-5A. So tomorrow after the bell. So you have one day. I mean, yeah, I'm with you on all those technical reads. When you got an earnings coming up, though, if you are a longer term trader, because Slavic, you're a day trader, you come and react to the earnings,
Oh, yeah.
If you're a longer term trader, you got a couple of choices, Noah. You can exit, you can roll calls, you can unwind calls, or you could even caller. And you got to know exactly why and when you're doing all of those things, right?
Yep, absolutely. If in doubt, sit it out. That's always a good rule.
You just rhyming today. I like it. I mean, like everything, Noah, I'm feeling like another dad joke contest coming up here, Cody. Maybe we can set that up.
We should put another dad joke contest
Definitely.
on.
I want in. I'm in. All right, work here, Cody. I'm going to send this one over to you. Slack Technologies. Here we are coming off the bottom. What you read?
So we were talking about this. I think it was about a month ago when it was looking like it had a reversal pattern. Then it got slapped down from that.
Mm-hmm.
Big candle today. I still want to see it get above the level it's at now with some follow through to really call this a reversal. This would be something that if you get a clear signal to the upside, you could use it as a potential boomerang candidate. But I don't know what the options look like on this, but it could potentially be
good
bottoming.
options. They're tradable.
I want to see it. I want to see it stay above like 25.
By the way, this was a candidate for a short sell, and it goes to the confirmation, Noah, of where triggering is so important because you're sitting down there on support. And we even debated this long and hard in the Friday scouting report meeting. We're like, guys, we love the company, but if it breaks down, it breaks down. You got to trade what you see. Now it's coming back up off support. So that kind of throws the pattern out there. Noah, if you had something as a breakdown candidate coming in on a day like that, you just take it off your watch list for that, don't you? You move on.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is the kind of setup where with that low base pattern, if it doesn't trigger like it did, it certainly washes that pattern out of consideration. But I do also see where, hey, this could also be a bottoming pattern. That same consolidation when you get like a low base pattern, can break the direction of the trend, but can also be a reversal pattern. You can see the look of a double bottom, triple bottom here, where it's retested a couple of times, and if you see it clearing those highs, well, that's no longer a downtrend. Once it starts to break resistance points, that's when you really first establish the first inklings of an upward trend. So in this case, you might get away with like the reversal, like actually going around and turning around and taking it as a long position.
Yeah. If it does break out, you've got confirmation there. Beautiful, beautiful move there today. We already looked at Microsoft. Coach, I'll give you a quick look here. MSFT, we talked about at least one of the more bullish companies in the market. And we even identified it as an entry point yesterday. And here we are blasting out again. Gotta love it. Your pay range up, trail stops, manage, follow your rules, all those kind of things. New mining, NEM, Slavic.
Breaking a trend, a line, that swing that went to the upside from middle of January. So yeah, sitting on support at 43 and 3/4. If it holds, there could be a buying opportunity. It's still in a roaring uptrend.
Yeah, BFAM from Dina here, and I'm gonna give this one to Cody.
BFA what?
M
as in Mary.
That's right.
Potential high base breakout.
Yeah, a little earnings coming up here a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah. So you don't have much time to trade it, but it could potentially. But with earnings, how far away is earnings? A week, 2 weeks?
We've got that 2-week rule. Give me the exact date there, Noah. It looks about 2 weeks out. We're close. Oh, 13th. So
That's
you're not.
next Thursday. You got about a week. I would actually suspect that it's not going to do much up to earnings. Very few stocks actually run into earnings. Most of the time, they'll kind of consolidate until after earnings. So
Yep.
I don't think you have enough time to trade this one.
WCN. And I don't know that N is in Nancy. I don't know the stock here. Waste Connections. It must be a waste management type tie-in. Earnings coming up here tight. Here's a good pro tip here, Noah. This is one of the reasons why you have time offset on your chart so you can see the earnings dates.
Yes.
I can't count the number of times I've had a beginner say, man, I helped your earnings and I forgot about it. And they either had a good big benefit or a big bust. And it's completely random. Cody, you made that point. It's just a gamble going into earnings. There's no doubt about it. So offsetting your charts, make sure you can peek at it and have your rules set. Nice breakout, but you got a little earnings date coming up here. So how you play it. If you're day trading Slavic, you can still play anything, but if you're swing trading and you only got 10 days, I mean, now you're getting pretty tight. I think our exact rule is 14 days for our reports. I think step system rules, Noah, might be 10 days, but you got to have enough time to play it, right?
Why isn't it running? Can we look more back in time? Like, is there like some resistance?
100 psychologically just significant, but I don't know why it's stalling up here.
It's right at a big resistance zone. And it's looked like it's poking its head out above there, but it's just a little tentative. Sometimes when you get a breakout, you don't get a lot of energy. It's just kind of like poking its head up there to see if it belongs. And I think with that 100 number right there, that big century mark, that is a psychological barrier that I think a lot of traders would like to see it get above.
Love it. Charter Communications, Scott, one of my favorite companies recently just from a bullish perspective. It's been a candidate for our reports many times, took off. Earnings was great. We actually had this one on the option report, and man, momentum carrying through was great on Monday. Little hesitation candlestick here on Tuesday. How you manage stop losses are very important here, guys. Very aggressive management might be out here on a quick 2-day profit, because the candle's coming down. When I trade a high base like this as a position trader, I'm probably going for a little looser stop, Noah, try to catch a trend here. But this is where you could have two traders approach this in different situations. It was a great breakout. How you're managing it here comes down to the trader style, don't you think?
Absolutely. There's a lot of room for, personal style points, trade management techniques. I think the important part is that you have one, that you have a style, that you have a technique, and that you stick to it. Don't change your strategy in the middle of a trade.
Yep. Constellation Brands, STZ, Jonathan, Julianne. And, little consolidation here, guys. Breakout potential. That I actually kind of like that chart. Cody, give me a look at this one. That if it breaks above that little range there, that would be a little bit of air.
First target's very easy to see. Yeah, easy trigger right there, Noah's got that cursor. 195.14. First target would be 200. That's a pretty clean break and easy thing to target. Next target I put about 205, where that gap happened about 4 months ago.
Gap filling
nice
that 205. Yeah, I do like it. I mean, whether or not you think 200 has to be your first target or not, I think we could discuss that. I think that's logical. That's the first number that I grabbed. Pivot point right there around that 200 mark. But interesting one. It would come down to reward to risk and execution, but good looking consolidation, Jonathan. And a couple more here, guys. Then we're going to wrap. Maybe one for everybody. Pfizer for Slavic, PFE, big company, drug manufacturer, Slavic.
Yeah, that pullback was a little deep, and now watch for a dead cat bounce against that resistance here at, what is it? 38, right where we are. The next red candle could trigger like a short trade. If not, next up would be 618 retracement from this drop to watch for reversal. I think, and from the bigger picture, like this is like a big drop happening in August, and we're flagging all the way till now with this little flat uptrend. I'm bearish on Pfizer here.
Yeah, I would be bearish as well. Definitely a bear flag developing. Even if this was a Friday, that could be on a report candidate list, Noah. Obviously a lot to happen between now and then, but that's a good looking bear retracement.
That it is. It is.
Morgan Stanley, last one for you, Noah, and then we're going to wrap this puppy up.
Well, Morgan Stanley came down all the way to that 52.50 zone. It filled its gap, and it actually managed to pop back up today above its moving averages, but back up above the 20 and the 9. That's a good sign. I can see another trigger right above today's high, right above that 55 zone, 54.50 ballpark, for upward confirmation. And the rest of the financial sector seems to be following suit.
Yeah. I like bear flags like that. And obviously the old resistance, new support after post earnings gap. I like charts like this. Yeah, that's a good find. I'm going to put that one on there, J3 Polaris. And that's our show, guys. I mean, here's the thing, Cody. You know, we watch our YouTube numbers all the time. We've been hitting in the 80 marks pretty much every day we're doing a show lately.
Pretty consistently.
Can't wait till we start topping that 100 in the live mark. I got 3 independent emails, Cody, from students who say, hey guys, we love what you do. We watch it every day. We just don't watch it live. And if you're watching it after the fact, we love you too. Give us a thumbs up, a comment in below. We're happy to keep an eye on those and talk. If you ever have a question, team@tackletrading.com. Give Coach Mark something to do over there. There's no question about it. He does a great job with our customer support, communication with our clients. Really, really grateful for Mark and the work he puts in. Great job, Noah. Great job, Slavic. If you've not signed up for our trial, there's a 15-day trial in the links below. Go give the pro a shot. I mean, there's a lot more that we do in pro that we just can't do here, like the traders lounges and the nightly shows and the mastermind groups and the courses and the scouting reports. There's a lot of value over there in that community.
The traders lounge is, I think, it's one of the best things as well. I would put the traders lounge right there behind the scouting reports. The traders lounge, you can directly ask questions about a trade that you're doing, like the actual money management in your account. And the coach is there and he will help you manage your exact trade, no matter how complex it is or how, crazy or what you've done or whether it's going well. Your exact trade can be assisted in the traders lounge. Trader lounge is awesome.
Yep, I agree with that 100%. Guys, we're out. We'll see you tomorrow.